Chapter 6. Eradication of the evil effects of sighting the moon. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Dasharatha asked Vasishta, O Swami, why is Angariki Chaturthi considered superior? Please tell me about it. I am keen to understand this, so please elaborate. Vasishta narrated the enlightening story about Prithvi and Rishi Bharadwaja and their son Bhauma, Mangala. Vasishta said, Bhauma was a highly intellectual son of Bharadwaj and Prithvi. He commenced penance by chanting the Ganesh mantra, Gananam Tva. He meditated on Gajanana and engaged in penance living in the forest to the west of the splendorous town of Parinera. After 100 years, Ganaraja was pleased and manifested. He said, Ask for a boon that you desire, O Bhauma, son of earth. Bhauma performed his puja and then extolled Ganesha with great devotion. Bhauma asked for a boon which would bring joy to all. He asked, I am born as a human being, yet I desire to be immortalized, so please make me a planet. Therefore, O Lord, establish me as a planet named Mangal, which will be a center of your devotion. Grant that I shall be the eliminator of deaths and bestower of wealth. I am blessed by your darshan on Krishna Chaturthi of the month of Magh. Grant that the Tithi associated with me be considered as a bestower of great merits. The Krishna Chaturthi which falls on Tuesday is considered most auspicious. Ganaraja granted these boons, saying, Tathastu. Since then, Krishna Chaturthi that falls on Tuesday has been assumed of paramount importance and bestows immense merits. I shall tell you a fascinating legend. On the day of Shukla Chaturthi of Bhadrapad month, looking at Chandra is forbidden. O King, I shall explain the reason for this tradition so that you will be able to avert any danger and can engage in the worship of Ganesh. One day all Devas and Munis decided that since the 5 primordial Devas emanated from an Amsh of Ganesh, they are undoubtedly not distinct from the Ganesha principle. Worshipping and remembering Shiva and other Devas can please Gananayaka Gajanana. Hence Munis worshipped the 5 main Devas, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Shakti and Surya at the commencement of any deeds to be blessed with success. The conceited Devas, Rishis, Vishnu and other chief Devas agreed to the same. But when Munis conducted yajnas in that manner, they were unable to attain any success and hence were perplexed. Then all Munis and Devas approached Brahma. They extolled him and narrated the events to him. Brahma was also worried. He remembered Shiva and other Devas. Vishnu, Shiva, Shakti, Surya arrived and were also astonished. At that moment, they heard a loud, terrifying sound. It was so sharp that they thought that it was the sound accompanying the annihilation of the universe. All of the Devas, including Shiva, was terrified. Then a frightening and formidable Purusha, a human form, manifested. Seeing this frightful, daunting Purusha, Shankara and other Devas were overwhelmed and were rendered unconscious. Many Devas and Munis fled. Some of them fainted. Brahma and others regained consciousness in some time. They saw the Purusha standing before them, watching them intently. Filled with extreme fear, they extolled the majestic form of Ganesha, which was embellished with Gajavaktra and other symbols. They meditated on him in their hearts. Brahma and others extolled, We bow to you, O Gananatha, Lord of obstacles, Vignapati, the benevolent protector of the helpless and the one who removes all obstacles. To the one who bestows everything on his devotees, to the formless ones, who is a witness of all, to the immeasurable, to the incomprehensible, to Heramba, we bow to you. To Gajanana, to the Lord Deva, to the one with ears like winnowing fans, we bow to you. To Mahodara, to the one worshipped foremost, we bow to you. To the primordial one, to the magnanimous bestower, to the one worshipped by all, we bow to you. To Dundiraja, to the one who exists in everything, we bow to you. To the one who lives in Swananda, to the one endowed with yogic peace, we bow to you. To the bestower of yoga to yogis, to the Lord of yoga, we bow to you. To the creator of the universe, to the preserver of creation, to the destroyer of creation, we bow to you. To Ganesha, to the driver of gunas, we bow to you. To the one who is the Atma and the one who is not the Atma, to the one who enlightens the cause, to the Lord of Brahma, to the protector of Devas, to the eternal Lord, we bow to you. Please ward off the massive calamity before us, or else he will swallow us. O Gajanana, we are subservient to your lotus feet. O Lord and Protector, if we die, you too shall face disgrace. O Lord of Devas, Devesha, protect us. We are unable to look at this terrifying Purusha. O Vignesha, we feel that we are dying. Protect us. When they pleaded in this manner, the enormous Purusha before them abandoned his terrifying form and transformed into Ganesha. Everyone rejoiced. They all bowed to him with great reverence. Shiva and others offered their daughters, Manasakanyas or mind-born daughters to him. Brahma offered Saraswati, Vishnu offered Pushti, and Shankara offered Yogini. Jagadambika offered Mohini. Bhanu, who bestowed benevolence on the world, offered Sanjeevani. In this manner, the 5 devas worshipped Vignesha and bowed to him. Shri Ganesha lifted them and said in a deep, resonating voice, O Shambhu and other chief devas and munis, listen, you are all a part of me, but do not be arrogant. All animate and inanimate creations are also a part of me. I incarnate as an embodied form to bestow prosperity on them. Hence, O dear Mahadeva, decide with this knowledge, if you were to offer worship to a blade of grass instead of worshipping me, how can I consider it as my worship? Even in that grass there is an essence of me, but my worship will be limited to the part of me that exists in the incarnate form. I cannot be satisfied entirely. Similarly, when the learned worship you, who are my Amsha, I will be only partly content with the worship. Even if you were to worship the entire universe, Brahmanda, it will be insufficient to satisfy me as in every hair of my skin, multitude of universes exist. I am the Supreme Lord, Maheshwara, who incarnates in an embodied form endowed with various symbolic features such as the elephant's face, Gajavaktra. I exist in a Yoga Shanti bestowing form, which is Sanyoga of the Jagat and Brahmas. I can be worshipped entirely only by the worship of Jagat and Brahmas, both. Out of ignorance and delusion, Munis and Devas abandoned my worship at the commencement of any task and instead worshipped you 5 Devas. As a result, they faced obstacles. You all became intoxicated with pride and deluded that you were the supreme principle. Therefore, you did not attain any siddhis. Now don't repeat the same mistake again. Earlier, you all had performed numerous pujas to please me, so I have forgiven these transgressions and have granted you darshan. O beloved one, if I would have been content with my Kala Amsha, part of the divine, then why would I need to assume this embodied form? O king, having explained this, Lord Ganadisha concluded his preaching. All devas apologized for their wrongdoings and asked for forgiveness. At that time, the crescent moon shining on the forehead of Shankara, proud of his handsome form, insolently ridiculed the appearance of Ganesha. He bowed to Gananayaka and said foolishly, O Lord, why have you sported this bizarre and ugly elephant face? He did not stop at this comment. He asked repeatedly and mocked him. Gajanana was filled with wrath and pronounced a curse on Chandra. O Chandra, by the curse I pronounce on you, whoever looks at you will become sinful. They will always face obstacles in any deeds they perform. There is no doubt about it. Having said thus, Brahmanayaka Ganesha disappeared. Chandra and his wives were grief-stricken. Since then, Shankara and other devas shed their egos and became staunch devotees of Ganesha. But Brahmadeva was filled with pride as the one who was proficient in the Vedas. His ego would manifest time and again. Brahmadeva had offered his daughter Saraswati to Ganesha. Vignapa resided in Brahma's heart and indulged with her. As Ganesha lived in his heart, how could he become deluded? He would worship Ganesha with the devotion of a Ganapatya. Similarly, Vishnu in his heart was proud of his prowess as a preserver of creation. Vishnu had offered his daughter Pushti, who was the nurturer of the whole world, to Ganesha. Ganesha also resided in Vishnu's heart and indulged with her. Vishnu too, who was a Ganapatya and always sang bhajans of him. O king, you may ask, when Gajanana was always in his heart, then how could he become deluded? Shiva was proud that he was devoid of infatuation in his heart because of his practice of yoga. He had given his daughter Devi Yogini, who always resided in his heart, to Ganesha. Ganesha resided in Shambhu's heart and indulged with her. However, he was not deluded that he was a supreme one, as Ganesha was established in his heart. He was a devotee of Ganesha and was always absorbed in bhajans of Ganesha. O king, absorbing water and creating rain are the two main acts of Surya, by which he was a sustainer of lives of all on earth. As a result, all karmas also occurred timely. Surya was proud of these deeds. Surya had offered his mind-born daughter Sanjeevani to Ganesha. Ganadisha resided in his heart and indulged with her. Surya would worship him with single-pointed devotion. Similarly, Shakti was proud to be the one who enticed all. She had given her daughter Mohini to Vigneshwara. Ganesha lived in Shakti's heart and indulged with Mohini. So Shakti was always immersed in devotion for Ganesha. In this manner, all devas became free of pride and the beloved devotees of Ganesh. Chintamani, residing in the Chitta, is engrossed in performing the divine play through Prakriti. The feeling of false pride creates bondage in the world. The creator and doer is Ganesha himself. With this approach, all the devas submitted to Gajanana in their hearts and became happy. Mudgalacharya said to Daksha that on hearing this, King Dasharatha asked Vasishta, O Mahamuni, what was the plight of Chandra? Please tell me about it. Vasishta replied, after being cursed by Ganesha, Chandra returned to his abode. He was despondent and dejected, sat in solitude and mused on the curse. Ganapati's body symbolizes the state of sampragnata. Sampragnata in the manifest world, which can be sensed by the indriyas. His head symbolizes the state of asampragnata, the unmanifest, which cannot be experienced by the sense organs and intellect. The union of these two forms is the magnanimous Ganesha, who manifests assuming a human embodied form for bestowing his blessings on his devotees. O Lord Gajanana, your true form is yoga as described by Vedas. This was not known to me, as I was ignorant. He begged for Gajanana's forgiveness, saying, O compassionate one, forgive the inadequacy of the mind of this offender. Chandra pleaded for forgiveness, became absorbed in meditation of Vignesha, and disappeared from the skies. He was seated on the banks of river Ganga. He observed severe austerities by performing japa and penance of the Ashtadashakshara mantra of Vignapa to please him. When Chandra disappeared, the whole world was disturbed. The rays of the sun were scorching and dried up the animate and inanimate creation. All the helpless gods became frightened. Shambhu, Vishnu, the chief devas and other devas commenced penance and chanted the Sadakshara mantra. O king, they meditated on Gajanana with devotion to please the great Lord. After 100 years, Ganadisha manifested before Chandra to grant him a boon. At the same time, Lord Vignaraja also manifested for devas whose penance had completed 100 years. The lords of Devas and Chandra extolled the praise of Ganadipa at the same time. They all chanted the Atharvashisha Sukta and praised Brahmanayaka Ganesha. Ganesha said to them, O Lord of Devas, ask for a boon. I am pleased with your penance and shall fulfill all your desires. Hearing these words of Ganesha, All of them, with hands folded, offered pranams to Ganesha. Devas said, "If you are pleased with us, O Gajanana, grant us a boon that Chandra be freed from your earlier curse. O Lord, our salutations to you." Gajanana, the universal Amsha, was satisfied with their devotion and said, "I shall now grant mitigation to the earlier curse. Do not look at Chandra on Shukla Chaturthi of the month of Bhadrapad. O Lord of Devas, he had mocked me on that day. He had committed a sin. My words are never in vain." Devas were ecstatic. Granting these boons, Ganesha disappeared. They all proceeded to meet Chandra. Ganapati manifested before Chandra. Seeing him, Chandra bowed to him and performed Dandavat Namaskar. They performed his puja as ordained and sang his praise. Chandra extolled, "To the bestower of divinity, to his devotees, to Paramatma, to the Lord of Brahmas, to Brahmesha, to Vignapa, to Ganesha, I bow to you. To the one worshipped foremost, to the one who is free of maladies, I bow to you. To the son of Shiva, to the son of Vishnu, my salutations. To the son of Brahma, to the son of Surya, to the son of Shakti, to the destroyer of difficulties, I bow to you. To the son of Shiva, to the son of all, to the one who is the mother and father of all, to the Lord of all, to Paresha, my salutations to you. To the Lord of Siddhi and Buddhi, to the one who drives Siddhi and Buddhi, to Heramba, to the Lord of great Devas, I bow to you. To the Creator, to the Preserver, to the Destroyer, to the form of the Supreme Spirit Paramatma, to the bestower of boons, to all, to the one without a beginning, Anadi, to the Siddha, the enlightened one, to the Lord, I bow to you. Influenced by your Maya, I was intoxicated with pride and committed an offense. Please bestow forgiveness on me. O Gajanana, I surrender to you. Please emancipate me from this great calamity. Earlier, when Devas and others looked at me, their face would glow with joy. Now, on seeing me, they are fearful of becoming sinned. Therefore, they do not look at me. Even the most sinful amongst the sinners does not aspire to have any darshan. O compassionate Vignesha, grant that I will be relieved of my curse. O merciful one, my salutations to you. O Lord, who relieves one of his obstacles, grant that I may be blessed with your holy darshan regularly, by which I shall become accomplished and honored by yogis. Overwhelmed by devotion, Chandra danced in ecstasy in the presence of the Lord. He shed tears of joy. Acknowledging his devotion, Dundi said, "The stotra that you have composed will enhance devotion towards me, so I will forgive your innumerable sins. This is definite. The stotra will grant siddhis and happiness to readers and listeners. O Chandra, you have been restored to your earlier glory, but that day when you mocked me will remain cursed. You will adorn my forehead. On the day of Krishna Chaturthi, my devotees will worship you while observing the vrata. O Taresha, Lord of the stars, after concluding my puja only if devotees offer you water, their desires will then be fulfilled. If not, they will not be blessed with success in their vrata. I have graced you on the Dvitiya, second Tithi of the Shukla Paksha in the evening. Hence, you will be honored by all on that Tithi. Since you were graced by my darshan on this day, people will worship you on this day. Those who perform the Dvitiya Tithi Vrata will forget their sufferings for an entire month. After granting these boons, Gajanana accepted the obedience of Chandra and disappeared. At that time, all Devas and Chief Devas arrived. Chandra received them with respect and performed their puja as appropriate, and later, along with all of them, got an idol of Ganesha installed by inviting Brahmins. He performed puja of the idol. Chandra earned a place on the forehead of Ganesha. Since then, Ganesha is also referred to as Bhalachandra. All Devas, Brahmins and Chandra had performed penance of Gananayaka, and as a result, Chandra was relieved of his curse. Devas performed his puja and returned to Swargaloka. O king, since then Chandra lived in Swargaloka in his Amsha form and engages wholeheartedly in the service of Vignesha with respect and devotion. The son of Atri Rishi Vidhu lived on the banks of river Ganga, immersed in service of Balachandra with devotion. I shall now narrate another legend in this context. Once, due to the prayers of Devas, Hari incarnated in the lineage of Yadavas as Vasudeva. Unaware, he looked at the moon on Shukla Paksha Chaturthi in the month of Bhadrapad. He became tainted. He lost his powers arising from his inner knowledge of being the divine Antarjnana. His mind was now comparable to a common human being. O king, as if this were not enough punishment, he faced more calamities. In the Yadava family, there was a king named Satrajita. He performed severe penance and worshipped Surya for 100 years. Pleased with his penance, Surya generously graced him with Shamantaka gem that adorned his neck. Satrajita wore the jewel around his neck with profound devotion. The gem would produce 80 tolas. 1 tola is roughly 10 grams gold every day. As a result, the Shamantaka gem gleamed like the brilliant sun around the neck of Satrajita, a Yadava prince. The devotee of Surya lived in Dwaraka and worshipped the Shamantaka gem piously. He performed its puja daily. Several years later, Krishna, morally depraved, though thought of acquiring the gem for himself. While seated in his assembly, Krishna invited Satrajita. When he arrived, he politely said, "We have selected Ugrasena as the king of Yadava clan. He is venerated by all Yadavas. O Yadava, whatever we had seized during the conquest of earth, we have handed over to Ugrasena. You too should give the Shamantaka gem to him. You may take home whatever gold the Shamantaka gem creates every day. However, you should surrender the Shamantaka gem so that it can adorn Ugrasena's neck." Satrajita was enraged at his demand and replied to Krishna, "I have given the gem to Prasena. He is refusing to return it." Buying time in this manner, Satrajita returned home, recounted the events to Prasena and gave the gem to his brother. O king, later one day the young princes of Yadava went hunting to a forest with Krishna. At that time, the evil-minded Prasena wore the gem around his neck and joined them for hunting. As he was a sinner, a lion attacked and killed Prasena and his horse. The lion dragged his corpse into a cave. The mighty Jambavan killed the lion and took the gem to his house. He gave it to his daughter. Then Jambavan said to her, "I shall gift it to your future husband. Till then you can keep it." In the evening, all the Yadavas returned to their respective homes. But Prasena did not return. Satrajita was furious. He said, "Enticed by his greed for the gem, the wild Krishna must have killed my brother. I am certain." O king, the residents of the town believed him. They condemned Ugrasena and Krishna. Krishna was disheartened and sat down for meditation in an attempt to resolve the issue. But like a common man, Janardana was stupefied. He could not understand why he was being accused. As a result, he became more distressed. He pondered, "Where have I lost my powers of intuition and inner knowledge? How did I become an ordinary human being? I am unable to understand anything. I have been accused wrongly, so I must die." Thereafter, a self-respecting Krishna took some selected Yadavas and went into the forest in search of Prasena. They followed the tracks left by Prasena and his horse. They found the mortal remains of Prasena and his horse. There was no gem on the remains of his body. By looking at the injuries, Krishna deduced that he had been killed by a lion. So they trailed the lion. In the great forest, they found a dead lion which had been killed by a bear. But the gem was not found and they were disappointed. The Yadava youths followed the pug marks of the bear. It led them to the terrifying cave. Krishna was determined to clear the blot on his name, so he asked his associates to wait outside and enter the cave alone. At a depth of about a yojana into the dark den, he saw a well-lit courtyard. There in a cradle, he saw the gem. He was relieved. There was an infant sleeping in the cradle. He advanced quietly and cautiously. Just then, Jambavan's daughter emerged. Seeing a stranger, she was frightened and screamed. Jambavan heard her shrieks and came to her rescue. Seeing Krishna, he attacked him. They fought vehemently for 21 days. The Yadavas waited, and on the 8th day they returned to Dwaraka. When they narrated the whole story to the people of Dwaraka, they were perturbed. They said, "We waited for 7 days but were disappointed. Sri Krishna did not return from the cave. We do not know whether he is alive or dead." Vasudeva and others were filled with sorrow. Ugrasena and all the devas wept. They lamented, "Without Krishna we will be defeated, as the enemy will be more powerful. All the Yadavas will die at the hands of the foe." O king, Balarama pacified them by resorting to different reasoning. They were terrified, and the saddened kings heaved a sigh of relief. They criticized Satrajita, who had accused and falsely implicated Krishna. He too was sorrowful and petrified. Jambavan addressed Krishna in a deep, resonating voice. "O brave warrior, you have resisted me for many days. Who are you?" Krishna convinced him of his identity by replying, "O intellectual one, my name is Krishna. I belong to the Yadava clan." Hearing this, Jambavan was remorseful. He bowed to him. He said, "Earlier, Rama had promised me that he would visit me during his incarnation as Krishna. He has kept his promise. O Vishnu, I am your servant. O merciful one, please forgive me. Due to my ignorance, I tried to exhibit my prowess, fought with you, and committed an offense." Thereafter, he performed the puja of Krishna and extolled him. Krishna then affectionately narrated the sequence of events. Jambavan gave Krishna his daughter and the gem. Krishna accepted them and returned to Dwaraka with his wife. Seeing Krishna, the subjects of Dwaraka rejoiced. O king, all the Yadavas celebrated. They summoned Satrajita. Witnessed by all, Krishna returned the gem to Satrajita. Satrajita was ashamed and condemned himself. He was also afraid that he may have incited hostility with the illustrious Yadavas. So Satrajita handed over the gem and offered his daughter Satyabhama to Krishna. Thereafter the father-in-law requested Sri Krishna humbly, "O intellectual one, worship Surya and protect the gem. Give the gem to your grandsons." The Yadava consented. In this manner, Satrajita handled the situation. In the meantime, they heard from Purochana the news that the Pandavas with Kunti were burnt in a lacquer house. All Yadavas were grief-stricken. Krishna and Balram immediately proceeded to Hastinapura. Dhritarashtra was also filled with grief and wept. Shatadanva, Akrura, Kritavarma were Yadava warriors who were enraged. They formed an alliance and hatched a conspiracy. They questioned Satrajita why he had offered his beautiful daughter to Krishna when he had promised her to them. Krishna and Balram were in Hastinapura, lamenting the demise of Pandavas. 3 of them decided to seize the gem at night after killing Satrajita. Conspiring in this manner, Satadhanava killed Satrajita, took the gem and hid it in a barrel of oil. Thereafter he approached Krishna innocently. Balarama informed Krishna that his father-in-law Satrajita had been killed. Krishna was filled with wrath. Realizing that Krishna was furious, Satadhanva quietly slipped away and approached Akrura. When Akrura did not offer protection, he went to Kritavarma. He too declined to support him. Once again he went to Akrura. He abandoned the gem at Akrura's place and fled in fear. He sat on a swift mare that could run at a speed of 100 yojanas and escaped. When Krishna heard about his escape, he mounted his chariot and chased him, accompanied by Balram. The mare collapsed with exhaustion after 100 yojanas. Satadhanva was terrified and ran on foot. When Krishna saw that he had dismounted and was running, he too abandoned his chariot and pursued him. When he caught up with Satadhanva, he released the Sudarshana Chakra and decapitated him. He searched for the Syamantaka gem on the body but did not find it. Saddened, he said to Balram, "O brother, I killed Satadhanva, but the gem is not on him." Balram was enraged and said to Krishna, "You are a rogue and are lying. You have hidden the gem somewhere. Not wanting to part the gem to your elder brother, you have resorted to lying. This behavior is condemnable." This is what I think. Krishna humbly consoled his elder brother, saying, "I swear on gods, Brahmins and cows as my witness that I have not stolen the gem." But Balram did not believe him and left in contempt. He was enraged and went to seek advice from his friend, King of Vidarbha. Krishna was gripped with profound sorrow. Remembering Balram, he wept profusely. Krishna tried to search for the gem using his powers of divine vision, but he could not locate it. He was grief-stricken and wept. He thought, how did I lose my divine knowledge? Even though I am divine, I have become like a commoner. Woe be unto this kind of a life. The illustrious and brave Krishna mounted his chariot and returned to Dwaraka. He recounted the events to the Yadava leaders in detail. The chief of Yadavas condemned him. O King Krishna, perform the final rites of Satrajita. The kings of various countries reviled Krishna. They said that it was because of his evil mind that he has performed this lowly act. They felt that he had compelled his brother to abandon their home. They suggested that no one must leave the greedy gem-thieving Krishna. The subjects of Dwarka were disrespectful to him. They ignored Krishna. As a result, Krishna was especially hurt and grief-stricken. Everyone had denounced him. He refused to leave his house. He had become very weak and emaciated. When Narada heard of his state, he came to the palace. He was shocked on seeing Krishna. The great soul Krishna, who was in a state of extreme sorrow, bowed to him and joined his palms in reverence. He softly said, all my subjects have deserted me. I am depressed. That is why I do not leave the house. At such a time, it is my good fortune to be blessed with your darshan. On hearing that, Narada asked Krishna, why have the people deserted you? Sri Krishna narrated the events in brief. After that, Narada with divine vision ascertained the cause of Krishna's grief. Narada said to him, listen to the reason for your sorrow. On the night of Shukla Chaturthi Bhadrapad month, you looked at the moon. Since Chandra is cursed, this is the cause of your misery. O intellectual one, do not contemplate suicide, worship Ganesha and observe the Sankashti Vrata of Ganesh. You will be acquitted of the false accusations of theft. Otherwise, you will not attain liberation. Surrender to Ganesha, who is omniscient. Seeing thus Mahayogi Narada singing the glory of Ganesha and playing his favorite instrument, the veena, departed. Thereafter, an extremely happy Krishna worshipped Vignesha by following the path of meditation. He sang bhajans of Ganesh with devotion. He uninterruptedly chanted the Ekakshara mantra and worshipped him. He also observed the superior Sankashti Chaturthi Vrata. He would sit motionless at night and meditate in solitude. Ganaraja, the one who bestows joy, manifested before his devotee Janardana. Brahmanayaka Ganesha awakened Krishna from his meditation. On awakening, Sri Krishna prostrated to Gananayaka and worshipped him as ordained. He bowed again and recited a stotra named Ashtaka from Samaveda. An ecstatic Krishna started dancing. Seeing the ecstatic Krishna, Ganesha said, O Krishna, I am pleased with your devotion. Ask for any boon that you desire, I shall grant it to you. Hearing Ganesha's words, the illustrious but distressed Krishna replied with devotion, O Vignesha, if you are pleased with me, grant me unwavering and steadfast devotion to you. O Vignapa, by your grace, grant that the people who see Chandra on Bhadrapad Shukla Chaturthi should not be afflicted by a curse. I lost all my knowledge and became helpless. If this is my plight, then what will be the plight of a common man? Hence I request you. Gananatha, enticed by his devotion, said to Krishna, O Krishna, you are not guilty. You will always have steadfast devotion to me. O Hari, I grant a boon that anyone who listens or reads with wholehearted devotion to this discrediting story of the Shamantaka gem will not be cursed, even if they take the darshan of Chandra. There is no doubt about it. Granting this boon, Ganesha, pleased with the profound devotion of Krishna, disappeared. Krishna was relieved and remained there. On the night of Chaturthi, he remained awake the entire night, and on the morning of Panchami, he performed the puja of Ganesha. He donated generously as ordained. By grace of Ganesha, he regained his ability to perceive by internal reflection. With that divine vision, he realized that Akrura had stolen and hidden the gem. Krishna invited Akrura to the assembly. He paid his respects to Akrura and said laughingly, Shatadhanva had hidden the gem in your house. Present the unique gem to Balabhadra respectfully. Thereafter, Akrura presented the gem in the assembly. Ugrasena was pleased and appreciated Janardana. Akrura went to Vidarbha to give the gem to Balaram. He gave the gem to him and with due respect brought him back to the assembly. Seeing Balaram, Krishna was ecstatic and bowed to him. All residents of Dwarka were overjoyed. Kings and friends from different provinces were convinced that Krishna was not guilty. Gananayaka is established in the hearts of all. Nothing is impossible for Ganesha's devotees by his grace. Therefore, avoid the darshan of Chandra on Bhadrapad Shukla Chaturthi. But if Chandra darshana occurs inadvertently, then read or listen to the story with devotion. By doing that, one will be rid of any sins committed. Otherwise, he'll be considered depraved and will be deserving of hell. Thus ends the 6th chapter titled Eradication of the Evil Effects of Sighting the Moon. In the 4th Khanda of the Purana Upanishad, Srimad Mudgal Puran, describing the legend of Gajanana, dedicated to Sri Gajanana. End of chapter 6.